What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Shalor back again with another video. Hey man, I just wanted to come in here and react to Stephen A. Smith. He's going off on LeBron James and Gilbert Arenas podcast. If you don't know or don't remember, LeBron James came up to Stephen A. courtside and went off on him, telling him to stop messing with his son. Basically on some recent comments of what Stephen A. said about LeBron James' son being in the NBA, and that his father should basically stop torturing him with this process. I kind of side with Stephen A. I don't like how he handled it, because he could have been a little bit more harsh, in my opinion. If LeBron James comes to me courtside and is talking that stuff, I'm gonna amplify it. Don't mean I gotta put my hands on anybody, but I'm trying to get that check. Now, I know I'm poor, and Stephen A. probably is thinking that way. But, I mean, what can he do? LeBron has never been in a fight. I've never seen him fight, on TV or on any of his games. So, Stephen A. waits till these podcasts come out to finally talk that talk. But that's enough of me talking about it. I'm going to go ahead and get into the clip. And let's go ahead and tune in.
What do you make of LeBron confronting you in the aftermath of that situation?
I thought it was weak. I thought it was some bullshit. But in the moment, I knew that I was listening to a father. Here's what happened. I'm represented by William Morris Endeavor. The founder of William Morris Endeavor, Ari Emanuel, had courtside seats right next to the Lakers bench. He had Larry David with him, star of Curb Your Enthusiasm. I'm sitting with them. I get there in the first quarter. I'm sitting courtside, and I stand up, and then I got my head turned. And then I turned back around, and a lot of people thought this was the end of the game or something like that. This was in the third quarter. Apparently, LeBron had walked out of the timeout, and I turn around, and he's right here in my face.
As soon as he got in my face, I mean, I know he didn't know what it was about, but I don't know what Larry David and all these other people have to do with it. But I guess he's just bragging, throwing up big names. Yeah, but I'm gonna let him go here.
He said, yo, you got to stop talking shit about my son. You got to stop fucking with my son. That's my son. That's my son. And I was like, what? He said, nah, fuck that. I said, yo, let's talk later. He's like, fuck that. Nah, fuck that. You got to stop fucking with my son. And I said, all right, though. And he walked off. So I remember.
Ain't no way. I'd be like, boy, what you talking about? I would have. I don't think I could have handled it that way. But given the position that Stephen A. is in, I guess you do have to handle it that way. I just don't like that you come to the podcast later on. You could have gave him a little spice, and a sprinkle of everything nice when you was on the floor. You didn't have to go straight Shannon Sharp at the Grizzlies. You could have gave him a little something.
During a timeout in the first quarter, seeing Bronny looked over at me, and he had this sad look on his face. And I'm imagining Pop saw that shit, and it hit him. And he couldn't hold it, and he rolled up on me. And so when I went on the air the next morning, first things first, believe it or not, I know this is shocking for people to believe, but I didn't have any intentions on talking about it until I woke up that morning and saw that the shit had gone viral.
Now, who believes that? I had a friend of a friend come to me. He always got these stories. Please. You knew he was going to talk about it.
Once the shit had gone viral, the bosses at ESPN, now you got to talk about it. This is you and him. You got to talk about it. I said, fine. So I go on the air and I said, the first thing that I'm going to do is establish that this was a father talking to me, not a player. And that was what threw me off. And I was glad even though I thought that he misrepresented the argument, I was glad he did. Because you see, what he was really talking about, which was confirmed with his conversation with Richard Jefferson, is that I was talking about him as a father. And so what happens is that had he said that to me, then I wouldn't have been thrown off. I'd have came right back at him. Yes, I was. I was talking about you. You did this shit. Which
I don't believe that. You still could have said the same thing then when he came up to you. You could have said, hey, this ain't about your son. This is about you. You know, we all know LeBron James doesn't want criticism. You know, he acts funny towards people that talk about him. He's like the player that ushered in the no criticism. Or you can't talk about me, I'm above this. That's why when Stephen A is on ESPN, he's, you know, look, I think LeBron, Clutch Sports, they have like some type of deal with ESPN where they just talk about him constantly. LeBron versus Jordan. LeBron scored this one. You know, they kind of spin the narrative to favor LeBron. LeBron plays no defense a lot of times. He can pad his stats and he can get late game buckets to make the stat sheet look good, and they will make LeBron look good, you know, by kind of changing the story to fit a narrative. But I'll let him continue.
which I'll get to in a second. But because he didn't do that, I said, fine, you let it go. Mind you, I just agreed to my contract. I'm courtside. That day was when it was announced. It's all over, everywhere. Watch, I be right. Mm-hmm. It's a nationally televised game. Mm-hmm. The cameras are rolling. And I'm like, if I do anything, this is going to be a scene. Mm-hmm. Now, we can sit up here in front all we want to.
LeBron would have snatched you. Nah, he wouldn't have snatched you. But it would have been funny.
When act like we don't work for somebody, damn it, I work for Walt Disney. Yeah. And if I had gotten into some shit with him at courtside right there at that moment, no matter how right I would have been, it would have been wrong.
You would have been fine, man. You could have just did just like Shannon Sharpe. You ain't about that type of life. Shannon Sharpe is on a different type of time. He's ready to go at all times with everybody, you know. But you could have gave him some more. I'm going to skip this and go to the next clip. Next video that I have in this interview or this sit down, because Stephen A is giving a more spicy side. I think it's more interesting.
He wants to see you man to man. I said, what would I have done? You had called me and said, Ron, pissed off. Motherfucker mad as hell. He wants to see you man to man. I said, what would I have done? Rich Paul said, you'd have hung up the phone, you'd flew to LA. I said, thank you. So my point is, rather than come up to me at courtside, all you had to do was say, yo, I need you to stay. Don't leave this game. I need you to see you after the game. That's all he had to say to me. Then as we speak, he says that. Let's take an example. He said what you just said. I stand down. I'm back.
You already stood down. And why would you fly out all the way to LA just to have a chit chat with LeBron? You can FaceTime him. I mean, I get it. He's LeBron James, but I'm not flying out. It ain't like you're going to get no money from it unless he's going to give you a one-on-one sit-down interview, the interview that you could never get. You know, that's another big issue that Stephen A and LeBron have, is that LeBron never gave him an interview while this kept. That's some history right there. I don't think LeBron has never liked Stephen A, you know, of the criticism he's given him over the years. And plus, he's not on his side in the Jordan debate.
And not only that, I'm going to make sure I go on the air. I ain't looking at it that way. That's on me. You didn't do that shit. You said you fucking with my son. No, I wasn't. I was talking about you. I was talking about you. It wasn't about your son. I know he's number 55. I know he got work to do. I believe that he got potential. I believe that he got the potential to go pro. I truly believe that. It's going to be tough. But I think he could pull it off. And by the way, I'm rooting for him.
Go pro. He already pro. Tell the truth like it's supposed to be told. The boy needs to be, he should still be in college. And LeBron is mad at you because you said that LeBron is putting him through this and he needs to stop it. That's what it's about. And LeBron wants to control the narrative to keep his son in the, this money train, because it's big money in his son being in the NBA and him being on the team. His son is not good enough yet. He could be better, soon, but he's just not there yet. So, or he may never get there. I think, who was that? Michael Jordan's son had better stats than him when I think he played at UCF back in the day. And he's not in the NBA, even though we know his son is a co-kid now. But that's neither here nor there. But look, come on, man. Stephen A. still ain't telling the whole thing, but I'll let him finish.
I ain't rooting against nobody. I'm talking about your ass. You did this. Mm-hmm. You the one that had us as reporters, as a league, as an NBA franchise. All of us gotta sit back and be quiet and capitulate to your shit.
Come on now.
You did that.
He telling the truth. I know. It's gotta be. LeBron gotta have some type of hold on ESPN and these reporters, because they never report the story right. I'm glad he said that.
And so when I see people talking, and I'm like,
look at him, he nodded. He's like, yeah, yeah, because he know what's up.
Oh my God, can somebody? I mean, I know I got a show, and I know I got my podcast, but I'm like, God damn, y'all, I'm fair. I don't give a fuck who it is. It's you. It don't matter who it is. Damn it, I'm just meeting you. If somebody unfair to you, I'm going to be like, that's not fair. That's not fair. But when it comes to me, everybody get crickets. That motherfucker Stephen A. on his own. Respectfully, excuse my language, that's fucked up.
Excuse you. Boy, he been cussing a lot. Hey.
I'm on my own. When number one, we know I'm right. Number two, we know the perspective that I'm coming from is real and it's authentic. Number three, he set this up. Number four, all you had to do was tell me. Listen, Kenji told me, you keep talking about, I'm bringing this up for all fun. He talked about how he approached me. I swear to God, I don't remember. I swear to God. Probably. But I know this much.
What you do?
And let me tell you what I did. I was writing for the Philadelphia Inquirer. This is from 1993 to 2010. Shit, I said, what the fuck he talking about? I called Philadelphia Inquirer. I called Marisa, look up the archive. I want every goddamn article I wrote about Kenya Moore. I don't know what he's talking about, right? Because I'm looking at articles. I said, I knew that brother was a stud. I knew that brother deserved his money. Where the Nets go? Nets ain't going no fucking back-to-back finals without you. I'm like, I know. What is he talking about? You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking for the shit, and I found some shit where you got it, some shit with Byron Scott or whatever.
Okay. It's enough of that. He started rambling on about stuff that don't matter. Conclusion of the matter. Stephen A. choked when LeBron confronted him. He should have gave him a little bit more. He should have held him up when he came to him to speak to him courtside. I would have said, hey, let me rap to you. You came to him he came to you in the third quarter. That's how you know LeBron didn't really want to say nothing. If he really wanted to say something, he would have said, hey, he would have came to him after the game. But I know you don't have a lot of time during the third quarter. I would have came to him after the game and rapped to him. But LeBron is a narrative spinner, and Stephen A. is as well. He did the same thing with Kwame Brown. I remember he was saying Kwame had little hands. I remember this when I was real young, and for a long time we would always say Kwame Brown, whenever he was brought up. But we only said it because of Stephen A. We never looked at the game to analyze if he was doing his job or how well he was doing on the court. We would just call him bust and trash based on Stephen A's spin on it. And that's just what the commentators can do because they spin the narrative. But LeBron is the ultimate narrative spinner. He's the reason why the league is what it is today. Players just up and go. They just jump around all the time, chasing rings, joining up It's a lot of mess that it's hard to watch the NBA. But y'all let me know what you think. Did Stephen A snap back correctly? Did he handle the situation correctly? Is LeBron James being manipulative and trying to create some narrative for his son or for him to be painted in a certain light? Y'all get with me in the comments down below. Y'all like, comment, share, and subscribe, and holler back at your boy. Peace.